announcement first. Over on Twitch, Bones is streaming today from 2 to 4 p.m. It's about an hour and a half-ish from now as of posting this video, so go watch him if you want to work on your comics with him, and the link to our Twitch is in the description down below, so go see him if you're interested. Okay. On to the video. So for today's characters, I am finally going to talk about the actual lesbian lifestyle vloggers from the Lesbian Lifestyle Vlogger RP. Oh my god, that is a tongue twister. Today I'm drawing Maura and Ronnie. They are a sweet married couple. They are vloggers, so they do lifestyle stuff, they do cute LGBT stuff. They are in an alternate universe to ours in this RP where magic exists. Anyways, so they, in their videos, they've been married for a while and they filmed all that. They film a lot of their life and put it out on videos and stuff, and at the beginning of the RP, they are having plans to have a baby, and they're planning to have Maura get pregnant. They're going with a donor, and they're going to make it happen. Maura is very nervous about this. Oh, I should say, in this picture, Ronnie is the spider lady, and Maura is the other girl. Anyways, Maura is very, very nervous about having a baby. She feels very conflicted because she doesn't want to say no because she loves Ronnie, but she's scared about physically getting pregnant. Anyways, so on their channel, because there is magic in the world, there is this special video challenge that's like going around that everyone's doing, kind of like, I don't know, it's like a really, I guess it would be like the Tide Pod challenge or something like that, like something really silly and edgy, I guess. Anyways, this challenge that's going around is like a little ritual spell. So in their world, you can do rituals that either result in a blessing or a curse. So if you do the ritual correctly, you get a blessing, which can be anything from like having good luck to having good skin, or even bigger things depending on how powerful the ritual is. On the other side, if you do the ritual wrong, you can get cursed. Getting cursed turns you into your cursed self. And this can be anything from, say, like turning into an animal, or turning into a pile of sludge, or going invisible. All of these things are possible. Everyone's cursed self is different and unique to them, though there tends to be like trends within a family. For example, if you turn into a cat when you're cursed, the rest of your family likely will as well, or something similar. And the more severe the curse, the more affected you are, the more transformed you are into this cursed self. So if you do a really tiny ritual, and say your cursed self is a cat, you might get cat ears until you undo the curse. But if you do a huge curse, you might turn into a cat and never be able to turn back. So this challenge that they're gonna do is a tiny, tiny ritual that basically like tests your love. You do the ritual, you kiss, and then, you know, if your love is true, you get a cute little blessing. It is such a minor ritual that like they sell it in like major retailers, like Walmart would carry it if it were a real thing, because it's so tiny that like there really isn't even a curse or a blessing attached to it. It's like you could barely call it a ritual, but people are doing it because like, you know, there's a lot of stigma around witches and like magic where it's kind of spooky and cool and dangerous, but people want to do it because like, you know, it's fun and exhilarating and it makes you look really cool even though it's not really doing anything. So Ronnie suggested they do this because it's a hot challenge. They won't, you know, it would help their channel out and stuff. Maura agrees, but she's really nervous about this as well. She is full of anxiety all the time. Same though. Anyways, so she's very nervous about this because she's never used magic or rituals before. She doesn't know any witches, and she has a friend that she went to high school with who got cursed really, really badly, so she's kind of scared of dabbling with magic. She's like, I don't want to get cursed. I don't want to know what my cursed self is. Like, I'm scared. And Ronnie's like, don't worry about it. I have a friend who's a witch. So Maura actually knows this witch friend, Joan. Joan is the friend. Maura kind of knows her, but she's more friends with Ronnie. So Ronnie's like, I'll get my friend Joan to help make an even weaker version of this ritual, and then we won't have to worry at all. It won't even be magic. and it'll be fine, and we'll still get all the views and be able to do the challenge, and there's no risks. And Maura's like, okay, I guess. So Ronnie goes to Joan and she's like, can you make this ritual for me? And Joan's like, of course I can. The thing is, Joan is secretly in love with Ronnie. Not so secretly, kind of. And she really wants to break up Maura and Ronnie's marriage and get with Ronnie. And she figures that this ritual thing will be the perfect way she can prove to Ronnie and herself that Ronnie and Maura aren't actually in love. So she rigs the ritual to be super, super powerful so that if they are not really in love and they finish the ritual, then they will be cursed. At least that's the idea behind it. So Ronnie comes back with this ritual. She has no idea how powerful it is. And she sits down with Maura and they're going to film their videos for the day. And the first video they're going to do is they wanted to vlog going through sperm donors for their baby. And Maura freaks out. Like, doing that just seems too real. She's afraid of filming it and having people see, just because, like, she's so freaked out by the whole idea of having a baby, and doing this, it just makes it real to her, and she can't handle it. So her and Ronnie get into this huge fight, which ends with Ronnie being like, so you don't want to have a baby with me? And Maura's like, maybe I don't know. And it just makes this huge, intense fight. And then they get to the end of it, and Ronnie's like, well, we still have to film videos, because this is our job, so let's just do the second video, we'll do this stupid love ritual, and then we can go cool off. And Maura's like, fine, let's do that. So they start the ritual, and they film it, and the ritual is so powerful, it kind of takes over their bodies, and finishes the ritual. There's, like, exchanging of blood involved, and it's very dark and macabre and scary, and they have no control over it once it starts. And so at the end of the ritual, which is all kind of a blur to them, they kiss, and they both get cursed really, really hard, like a huge curse. So Maura is turned invisible, and so she's invisible. Anything she touches or holds for too long also turns invisible, so like her clothes and her phone if she's holding it. Her voice has also been, like, the volume's been turned down, I guess, so like whenever she speaks it's like barely above a whisper. Even if she shouts, she's like super invisible. Meanwhile, Ronnie has been turned into a giant spider creature with, like, eyes everywhere and pincers, and her mind has also been a little affected, so she kind of has, like, a spider's brain. Anyways, so they both are transformed into their curses, and they freak out. Like, Maura sees Ronnie and she screams, and Ronnie runs off because she's, like, spider brain mode and she has to run and hide, and she sees herself in the mirror and she's like, oh my god, I'm hideous. And Maura goes to check on her, and Ronnie's like, go away, Maura, I don't want you to see me like this. And she basically tells Maura to leave and get out and not come back. So Maura is, like, scared and heartbroken, so she goes over to see her high school friend, her friend from high school, who is cursed, who, surprise, surprise, is our other character, Angie. If you want to watch a video about Angie, there's a card here somewhere you can click. But basically, Angie has been cursed since she was very young. And so she welcomes Maura in. She's like, I'll help you, like, you can stay here as long as you need to. I hope you and Ronnie are okay. And she's a really good friend, and she welcomes Maura in to live with her, and Maura effectively becomes her roommate for a little while things cool off between her and Ronnie. Meanwhile, Ronnie, she calls Joan to be like, hey, your ritual didn't work, we're super cursed. And Joan comes over to see her, and Joan is, like, both happy because it worked, her plan worked. She's like, good, they don't actually love each other. And Maura's out of the picture now, even though, like, Maura and Ronnie didn't break up. In Joan's mind, she's like, they're almost there, they're gonna break up. So Joan's really happy because they're separated, but she's also a little freaked out because Ronnie is a big scary spider. So for a little while she, like, tries to help her out. She, like, helps her find food. Ronnie has turned her apartment into like a giant spider's nest and like covered everything in webs, and she takes little objects and food and stuff and will like wrap it up and hang it in her webs. And like she's not very good at taking care of herself or eating well because she's a lot of the time she's kind of on autopilot and her spider brain takes over and she starts to like hunt insects and tries to get birds and stuff. Though she doesn't really leave the apartment because she's afraid of people seeing her and she doesn't want to leave her web, but she's not good at taking care of herself. So Joan helps out for a little bit, but she starts to kind of get freaked out by Ronnie because she's a big spider and Joan's kind of fickle and she's busy with school and stuff, so she's like, okay, I'm gonna get my friend Rowan. He's also a witch. He's gonna come help you. So she calls Rowan over, and Rowan is this big sweetie. He is a witch. He wants to work as like a PSW type person, so like someone who would care for people who are dealing with like really severe curses, kind of being like a caretaker or a friend or a counselor. He's in school studying how to do that, and there's a big stigma against witches in their world because, like, you know, witches are scary, they deal with magic, and there's this stigma that they're evil or like conniving and like, ooh, they worship like these creepy gods that like dictate who's blessed and who's cursed, and there's just a lot of bad stigma against witches that for the most part is really not true or undeserved. So Rowan is like, I'm gonna prove to the world that witches are good. And so he sees Ronnie's situation. He's like, of course I'll help. So he starts stepping in and helping take care of her and bring her food and keep her company so her spider brain isn't always like taking over. So he comes over and they watch movies and hang out. And he also is like, I'm gonna help you get uncursed. So they do have a dilemma because it's obvious that Joan either tampered with the ritual or botched it on purpose. So when the curse first goes wrong, Joan claims that like, oh, I made a mistake, I must have grabbed the wrong spell, I'm so sorry. And she lies through her teeth and says it was all a mistake and she's gonna help Ronnie get uncursed. And Ronnie believes her because she's her friend. But Rowan, as he starts to look into it, he's like, there's no way that this could have been like an accident. It's such a powerful spell. Like, Joan knows her magic. She wouldn't have done this. But because Joan claims that like she doesn't know what the spell was, she doesn't know how to undo it per se. But Rowan, he's like, hey, you guys have footage of the spell. If we can look at that, I could show it around. I know lots of witches in the community, like someone will know what the spell is and we can work to get you uncursed. However, there was some foul play. I know. The plot thickens. So Joan took the hard drive that this footage was on and she set it up to look like Ronnie accidentally destroyed it. So she put it like, she made it look like one of the little things that like Ronnie takes and wraps up in web, and she put it over the bathtub and filled the bathtub with water and then made it look like the webs ripped and the hard drive fell in the water and oh no, it's ruined. So Ronnie is like, she is not always like there entirely, like she goes on autopilot a lot, and she's like, I don't remember putting the hard drive there, I thought I left it on the desk, and like, oh my god, this is all my fault, I can't believe I did this, what was I thinking? But Rowan's like, well, Rowan, he initially has no idea that Joan has done this, but he's like, it's okay, I'll keep asking around, we'll find a way to break your curse. So meanwhile, Maura is hanging out with Angie, having a really good time. They're best buds, and she learns a lot about a lot of the trouble that cursed people go through. There's a lot of stigma, like there's a stigma against witches, but there's also a huge stigma against cursed people. There's this idea that like, if you're cursed, you did something to deserve it, because like, oh, you messed with magic, or you're a bad person, whatever it is, like, there's a stigma against them. So a lot of people kind of been like, well, you did this to yourself, and they're really rude and nasty about it. And there's also another side to being cursed, where people tend to think that like your cursed self is like a reflection of you as a person, when it's not. Like Bones and I have decided that there's no connection whatsoever to your personality, it's just kind of random and then runs through families. Maura discovers all these prejudices all over the place, and she learns how to kind of live with her curse. She starts wearing bells on her clothes so like people can tell where she is. She finds strategies to like, you know, use different items like her phone without it disappearing. And so for a while their vlogging stuff disappeared, like when they first started dealing with the curse, because Ronnie didn't want to film anything. She was really scared of like people seeing her and judging her. And Maura was like, well, I used to do a craft show before I started doing like the vlogging stuff, but like, how can I do any videos if no one can see me? So she starts working on doing like more audio videos, and working around her curse to still make videos. And she puts out an announcement to like all their fans saying like, we messed with a ritual and got cursed. We're not gonna like do videos for a while or not like go super public with this, but she kind of lets people know what's happening. And this causes a lot of buzz around the internet, lots of gossip, and we actually have a character who Maura eventually meets named Gamer Pearl. So she's a Twitch streamer in this world who was cursed from birth. And she is a cat girl, so her curse makes her look very cat-like, and so she's always speaking out, like, trying to get rid of the stigma against, like, cursed people, and she's really cool, and, like, has a big following, and she interviews Maura to kind of find out what happened, and it's really cute, and this RP is fun because it has lots of spin-off potential. Anyways, so Maura learns a whole bunch about being cursed and how to deal with it, and she starts to rekindle things with Ronnie, and eventually they kind of, you know, put things aside. They miss each other a whole bunch, so Maura goes back to live with Ronnie, and they work things out, and they smooch a whole bunch. It's still not breaking their curse, like they think like a true love's kiss will break this curse, but they keep trying and it's not working. And there's a few possibilities. It's like they could, you know, maybe they haven't put their fight aside about the baby yet, so they can't get past that and get uncursed until they are past it. Like, there's a whole bunch of possibilities. They still haven't figured out how to get uncursed. And once Maura finds out about the hard drive getting destroyed, she's like, Joan did this. Because, like, when she steps in and moves back in with Ronnie, she starts to see, like, you know, she starts to take care of things with Ronnie and starts, like, talking to her more and understanding, like, why she does different spider things. Ronnie keeps, like, she likes to wrap up food and things she likes to save for later. She keeps, like, trying to wrap Maura up in web, and Maura has to stop her, but, like, it's cute, because she's like, I like you, and this is, like, a spider hug. Maura is, like, Ronnie's webs are really strong. She wouldn't, like, none of her other webs have ripped. Why would this one rip, and why was the bathtub full? Like, Ronnie doesn't need to take baths. Like, this just doesn't make sense. And it becomes really clear to everyone that there's no way that Joan could have made this mistake. Like, Rowan starts looking into this spell, and it's like, there's no way that Joan could have mixed this up. She understands magic, she understands how powerful this thing is, so she definitely intentionally cursed them. Rowan is, like, having trouble dealing with it, because he's like, I need to report this to the police, because, like, in their world, it's illegal to, like, maliciously curse someone, especially, like, to this degree. So he's like, what am I gonna do? Like, I should report her, but, like, she's my friend, and, like, why did she do this? Like, I knew she was, like, ridiculous, and I knew she had this big crush, but, like, why would she do this? So he's really conflicted there. And then, meanwhile, Ronnie is like, I can't believe my friend did this. Like, it takes her a while to, like, really accept it, but eventually she's like, I gotta deal with this. Like, I can't believe Joan did this to us. And Maura, she's like, I was right! I knew it! I knew she was evil. I knew she did this on purpose. And that is where we have left off. We have yet to figure out how to uncurse these two. Will they have a baby? Will they get uncursed? At one point, Ronnie steals a Christmas ham. They have a nice little Christmas dinner together, because Maura tells her family about what's going on, and they come over and have Christmas dinner, and are really sweet and supportive. Ronnie's family are not, because they did not accept her being a lesbian, so they're probably not going to accept her being cursed. But Maura's family is really sweet and supportive, and they come over and bring Christmas dinner, and Ronnie steals it, and it's really cute. So yeah, that is where we left off. More to come. We finally talked about the main characters of this RP. I was putting off drawing these two for a while because I wasn't exactly sure how to draw an invisible person. Because truth be told, if Maura was wrapped up in those webs, they would start to disappear pretty quick. So, yeah, it's hard. But I did it, and I'm happy with it, and this is fun. So that is Maura and Ronnie, and maybe one day there will be a video about how their story concludes. Thank you so much for watching. Go check out the Twitch streams if you miss it today. There's also streams happening on Wednesday and then on Friday. So yeah, lots going on in this RP. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys next time. Goodbye. It's also very meta to have vlogger YouTube characters. It always makes me laugh. Anyways, goodbye.